Now we will be going to our next module, which is module number 3, PLC Communications. So communication is very important to the PLC because it serves as the medium of programming and data acquisition. There are different communication protocols that are available. Again, it depends on the brand of PLC or the means of communication for the PLC. So, i-open lang natin, ano? All of this would be seen on your module, so no worries about that. So, sa communication protocols, ano, when we try to talk about data communication, ano, data communication refers to the different ways that the PLC microprocessor-based systems talk to each other and to other devices. Most especially when we try to talk with PLC or with PC, I mean, with the computer, laptop, or handheld console, or pwede rin PLC to PLC. Two general types of communication links that can be established between PLC and other devices are the point-to-point links, ibig sabihin, device-to-device links or network links or multi-point links. Ibig sabihin, you could talk with different types of PLCs, with multiple PLCs, or each of the PLCs are talking with each other. So this is the illustration of the point-to-point communication link. Ano? You have only one peripheral on your PLC, whether that would be an RS-232, USB, ano, and those device or those communication ports or those ports or that port pala, I mean, is only connected either to a printer, either to a PLC, either to an HMI or operator interface. Ano? You have a serial cable there. Ano? Sometimes we call this one sa Siemens as the PPI cable. It's a USB type cable sa other end, and the other end is connected to an RS-485. Serial communication, RS-232 na ginagamit ni Mitsubishi. RS-232. Serial communication. Allen Bradley is also using their own serial communication in the means of DF1 cable. So yun ang ginagamit nila, but still it's in serial communication. And it is connected to a point-to-point, one PLC, one device system. Sir, paano kunwari, nagkabit ako sa laptop ko, nag-upload ako ng program, tapos gusto ko din ikabit yung aking printer o ang aking HMI. Ang mangyayari doon, class, is that once na makapag-program ka na sa laptop mo, you try to remove na yung communication mo with the laptop, tsaka mo lang ikakabit yung ating HMI. Ganun yung mangyayari sa kanya. Unlike with the multi-point interface or Ethernet connection based or LAN based, the PLC now is connected to a network na. It's either to a router, where your PLC and your PC is connected to a single network on which the PC could actually access different PLC or multiple PC could access a single PC. That is how we try to talk about local area network. Ang merong ganitong mga cases is yung mga bago ngayon like the Siemens S7 1200. Discuss naman natin yung iba't ibang mga communication. So, we have serial communication. Serial data communication is being implemented in the standards of, pag serial ito serial communication. In the standards of RS-232, RS-422, RS-485. The RS in the standards name means recommended standard. So recommended standard are 232, recommended standard 422, or recommended standard 485. Ang available sa atin, na makikita ninyong available sa atin sa school, is the RS485 at saka RS232. Those are the most famous serial communication devices that are available. The RS devices are used to connect devices such as vision systems, barcode readers, and operation terminals that transfers quantities of data reasonably at reasonably high rate. Typical is at 9600 or 9600 kilobits per second. Hindi siya kasing bilis ng mga internet natin, but when we try to talk about getting basic information, getting basic data, that 9600, yun din yung ginagamit ng Arduino, kilobits per second is very fast already. Ano? The RS-232 type of serial transmission is designed to communicate with one computer and one controller, usually with lengths up to 50 feet. That is the disadvantage of using serial communication. Meron siyang limitation when it comes to distance of communicating. RS-422 and RS-485 serial communication types are designed to communicate between one computer and multiple controllers. We call this one as multi-point connection sa Siemens. And have high level of noise immunity and are usually limited on lengths of 600 feet for RS-485 and 1.6 times 10 to the 3 feet for RS-422. Kung titingnan niyo ba, medyo mahaba-haba na sir to, pwede na to. Yes, it is good if you have that kind of PLC, the RS-485 or RS-422. Pero paano pag ang pinag-uusapan na natin is you are controlling a plant on which it is, well, dun sa RS-422 is kilometer na yan eh. Halos isang kilometro na yun, 1,600 feet. Isang kilometro na yun eh. Pero paano pag mas malayo pa dyan? That is why we need for other communication devices to enter this particular system. That's why we have another thing, we call it as device net. It's an open device level network and it is relatively low speed but efficient at handling short messages to and from the I/O modules. So this one is mostly used for monitoring basic inputs and outputs, basic I/O. As PLC have become more powerful, they are being required to control an increasing number of I/O devices. Therefore, at times, it may be practical, not practical to separately wire each sensors and actuators directly to the I/O modules. So that's why the basic function of the device net I/O bus network is to communicate the information with as well as the supply power into. The field devices that are connected to the bus, and the PLC drives the field devices directly with the use of a network scanner instead of I/O modules. So sa device net, may isa kang cable that is connected to the PLC on which you try to monitor and control your inputs and outputs. This is a little bit not the usual way of connecting input and output devices to the PLC. Kaya kung mapapansin ninyo, the device net is not much used when it comes to connecting peripherals. And it's not being considered sometimes in the industry. Control net, on the other hand, is positioned on one level above the device net. It uses Common Industrial Protocol, CIP, to combine the functionality of an I/O network and peer-to-peer network, providing high-speed performance for both functions. This open high-speed network is highly deterministic and repeatable. This one is being used on instrumentation and control purposes. If you have different field devices that are very far away and you need to have a stable and high connectivity between the device and the, let's say for example, your interface. Let's say for example, your computer. So control net is commonly used on industrial control purposes. The very famous and commonly used nowadays is yung Ethernet. Whether that would be a Profinet, FieldNet, Ethernet or IP based or industrial or Ethernet industrial protocol based is one of the most commonly used. It's because we are trying to use networks here. We are trying to use standard routers. Ano? And it is being sought after is because you could connect your network through the cloud, to the net. So, ibig sabihin, pwede mo nang may access since it is Ethernet-based and you try to connect your Ethernet communication through internet na, through cloud-based because of its seamless connectivity. Ano? Of course, you need to consider yung mga security. Ano? Pero yung pagkabit niya sa network is very seamless. Depende na lang sa magiging solutions ninyo, sa mga provider ninyo. Madali mo nang i-connect siya sa internet, sa cloud-based. That's why, sa isang planta, if you're far away from the plant, if you are on a vacation and you want to monitor the condition of the plant, or may babaguhin ka lang sa system mo, may babaguhin ka lang sa program mo ng konti, you need to bypass this, you need to add more security features by adding additional inputs or additional outputs. Tatawag mo lang kay operator na may dadagdag kang device, may dadagdag kang sensor na ikakabit mo sa system ninyo. Then, you could actually program it online. By accessing the network itself. Napakadali ng standard na to. And we are using this one on a Siemens S7-1200. This kind of protocol. Modbus, this is one of the most commonly used din, is a serial communication protocol originally developed by Modicon for the use of PLC. Basically, this method used in transmitting information over serial lines between electronic devices. The device is requesting information is called a Modbus master and the device supplying information are the Modbus slaves. So merong mga multiple devices that is connected to the communication protocol na Modbus to the PLC. The Modbus is an open protocol, meaning it is free for manufacturers to build. Ito yung kagandahan din ng Modbus. Kaya marami pa rin gumagamit ng Modbus communication. It's because it's an open protocol. Ibig sabihin, hindi siya strictly through one type of PLC or to one brand of PLC. Many brands of PLC are still using Modbus control. Depende na lang sa pagkuha ninyo kung ano. Meron ding mga cheap devices like Arduinos that are putting Modbus shield to communicate with the PLC. Pwede rin yun. And that is the good thing about Modbus. Just the same with the Ethernet connection. It is an open protocol. So it has become a standard communication protocol in the industry and one of the most commonly available in means of connecting industrial electronic devices. Field bus is an open serial two-way communication systems that connects measurement and control equipment such as sensors, actuators, and controllers. At the base level, the hierarchy of plant networks, it serves as a network for both field devices used in process control applications. So other than the CIP, we have also the field bus that is widely used on industrial process and control. Yung sa mga transducers natin. If you have or I think you had discussed this one before sa kay... Sino ba dito meron ng process control and instrumentation? The subject. Insacon.
Wala pa po ako.
Wala pa. Sige. This will be further discussed on your Insacon na may mga devices tayo that are connected, that are so-connected in the industry that you use these types of communication to communicate with a interface, such as your computer. Profibus are designed for Siemens most of the time. Ang Siemens ang kadalasang gumagamit nito. Profibus, DP, where DP stands for Decentralized Periphery, is an open international field bus communication that is mostly used by Siemens, Profibus and Profinet. Or sometimes more on the European standard, mga nakikita ko dito. It is usually comparable to DeviceNet. Physically, the medias are defined by RS-485 or fiber optic transmission technologies. And Profibus DP communicates at a speed of 12 Mbps over a distance of 1,200 meters. So, mabilis siya ngayon, mas mabilis. 12 Mbps, if you will be, or megabits. This is hindi megabytes megabits per second. This is actually incomparable with an internet connection speed. 12 Mbps. So that's it for the communication.